While shopping for new equipment for your home entertainment system, you might have seen or read about the IMAX Enhanced certified products, which then begs the question, how is IMAX able to bring their viewing experience home? In this video, I sit down with Digital Theater Systems Senior Manager Brian Slack on what makes IMAX Enhanced stand out from the competition. Welcome to Movie University. On this channel, I cover a variety of topics on the entertainment industry, so if you like what you see today, consider subscribing and liking this video. If you got a topic you want covered in a future video, leave a comment below to let me know. In a September 5th, 2018 press release, IMAX Corporation spilled the beans on its new line of IMAX certified products called IMAX Enhanced. The basic premise of this new line of IMAX-endorsed entertainment products was to give you the closest IMAX experience possible outside of the multiplexes. However, there are other companies that make high-quality devices for home viewing, and as some of you have pointed out in the comment section, sometimes watching movies at home is better than watching at a theater. So what makes IMAX Enhanced better? Here to help us understand this is Brian Slack, a senior audio manager at Digital Theater Systems, commonly called DTS.
One of the nice things about the IMAX Enhanced project is a lot of it comes from the technology that IMAX developed for the theatrical formats. So obviously the benefit and the issue with IMAX screens is they're huge. So when you start taking normal Hollywood content and blowing them up that big, even in 4K, you start seeing the grain, you start seeing all the artifacts more than you would on a standard movie screen. So IMAX developed a technology called IMAX DMR, which is their dynamic noise reduction system for video. And currently, I believe they're on DMR3, the third version of that technology. And that's what's used in the IMAX Enhanced project. So now that screens at home are getting larger and larger and clearer and brighter, those artifacts that, aren't necessarily apparent in most movie theaters are suddenly really apparent in the home. So you start getting a 65 or 80-inch TV at home, you can really start seeing the grain and the artifacts, especially given the higher black levels and the greater dynamic range and contrast ratios in the home video environment. So the noise reduction is a huge help with that, and they work directly with the creatives to adjust how much of the noise they put back in to the content. So it's not just a purely clean system.
Brian said creators make what is called a clean slate. This version of a movie has all the grain removed from it, and from there, the IMAX crew and movie creators will work together to selectively add film grain back into movies where they believe it is appropriate.
A really good example of that is with Top Gun. So when they went through and did Top Gun, the whole beginning of that film was shot in 16mm. So it has a really unique and interesting look to it. So removing the grain, all the grain, would have been a tragedy. It's like it's part of the DNA of that film. So what they did was they just cleaned it up enough to where it definitely improves the image, but without removing the quality of the cinematography.
IMAX Enhanced doesn't just give you a bump in image quality. As Brian explains, there's also a high fidelity mastering process to allow you to listen to the closest approximation of an IMAX audio track at home.
IMAX will hand us the original 5.0 masters or 12.0 masters, and for the documentaries, 6.0 masters. So we still get 6-channel masters for a lot of their documentary stuff, which is also being released on the streaming services and on discs. We've created custom filter sets that mimic what's happening in the IMAX theaters. We're not affecting the content in any way, and that's actually one of the big advantages of the IMAX Enhanced program from the sound point of view is we don't touch the mix at all. So whatever happened in the theater happens on the IMAX Enhanced product. A lot of people don't realize that the mix is being changed much of the time for what they're watching at home. Precisely because you're watching at home. They're trying to reach as wide of an audience as possible, so the mix is changed to sort of crush the dynamic range. So the louds don't get quite as loud and the quiets are brought up so that it sounds as good as it possibly can on just your TV speakers, as well as a big 5.1 system or something like that. But they're trying to reach this middle ground. Whereas with IMAX Enhanced, we're not. We're trying to give you the best possible experience and mimic exactly what happened in the theater. So if you've got an IMAX Enhanced system and you've got your giant speakers and your big TV and the whole thing, we can guarantee you what you're listening to was exactly what played back in the theater. And to the best of my knowledge, this is the first time that anyone's done that as a holistic program ever for home delivery.
So what happens if you pop in an IMAX Enhanced disc into your entertainment system versus a standard 4K UHD Blu-ray?
The moment the TV sees the IMAX Enhanced flag, it turns off all the external processing and sets it to its optimal settings that were meant to be done for the IMAX mastering process. If you were to put in an IMAX disc or play an IMAX streaming thing, it should tell the TV what settings it should have. Now, of course, it's not going to affect things like your LED brightness or anything like that, the things that are sort of normal to your viewing environment.
Not everyone has IMAX Enhanced certified equipment, so is it still worth buying IMAX Enhanced equipment now?
If you don't have an IMAX certified piece of equipment, you still get the advantage of the noise reduction, you still get the advantage of the mastering process, you still get the advantage of the HDR10, high dynamic range, color palette. On the sound side, we do sort of the same thing. Some people have really big main channels, like their left, center, and right are really big. Some people have the 5.1 system in a box, where you have the little tiny left, center, right, but a pretty big subwoofer. So the way we've done it sort of allows for both of those kinds of systems to work properly, whether or not you have an IMAX piece of gear. One of the reasons IMAX came to DTS to start this project was because DTS has legacy equipment. That's one of the nice things about IMAX Enhanced, is because the audio is DTS and the IMAX Enhanced 12.0 format is DTSX, it has all the advantages of a normal DTS track. So you can have a TV or a receiver that's 20 years old and your IMAX stuff will still play back. Or you can have a brand new one and it'll play back in DTSX with 12-channel sound and the whole thing, you get all the advantages of that. So it just sort of helped them to have a legacy product that would allow them to reach as wide of an audience as possible.
That last part is what separates IMAX Enhanced from Dolby's ecosystem. If you have all of Dolby's products to watch content in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, the content you're watching is impressive. However, it requires everything in your living room to be Dolby certified, whereas IMAX Enhanced does not. What do you think about IMAX Enhanced, or DTS? Let me know in the comment section below. This is Movie University, education in cinema.